says that the Mahindra Chintana vision for the future deals in detail, immaculately planned in each and every aspect. So, if you really want to contribute something for this country, if you want to be part of the development of this country, for our society, we all have to put our heads together, plan together, work towards our plan. So, it is not that one individual who would like to say, I can do that, or it's not going to be like that. Now, if you look at Singapore, if you look at Malaysia, Malaysia as a country, they have gone through the same situation about 25-30 years ago. When Mahathir Mohamad, the then Prime Minister, he had a similar challenge the way current President of Sri Lanka, Mahinda Rajapaksa, is going through. Lot of pressure because he was believing in Malaysian economy to be driven by their local entrepreneurs, manufacturers, industrialists, and that's how he came with Bhumiputra concept. He decided to identify various segments of industries and manufacturers and various services, and then supported each and every company and local manufacturer to be specialized into that. So he segmented that, financed them, assisted them, made sure that they find various world markets, local market, as well as globally where they can be assisted with. And then you see, it is like when you are running a country, especially with your the economic drive, you have to be like a business enterprise. You have to look at your opportunity, you have to look at your strength, and you have to look at your weaknesses, and then you have to make sure your product is right, put the right price for it. Now, when we are trying to develop, one example like Hambantota. Hambantota is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for our country, for our children and for their children and children to come. Because we are nicely positioned in the globally as a hub in the Southeast Asia. When Hambantota develops, all the silk route of our shipping routes, which is 50 to 70,000 vessels goes every year, more than 200 vessels a day, and when we can tap a certain percentage of vessels coming into Hambantota, that will drop someone else's market. So obviously, when a tiny country like Singapore, relying on their port income and their airport income, they have to find a way of sustaining. Because now, if you look at Sri Lankan economy, if you look at if any other country in the world, if they had gone through with the difficulties and terrorism attack, the way Sri Lanka has gone through over the last 30 years, that country would have been finished by now. The dollar would have been 5,000 rupees, equal to what we are experiencing now. We are very, very fortunate to be what we are now. Unfortunately, people don't understand that. Unfortunately, people don't appreciate that. Unfortunately, minority of people are trying to use that current economic situation as a huge crisis. And look at all the other part of the developed countries. Amount of redundancy, amount of people are unemployed in UK, USA, Europe, go to Middle East, Dubai, so many people are unemployed.
What you're trying to say is, like, whilst we were experiencing going through a hard period of 30 years of experiencing a war with a ruthless terrorist group like LTT, we have been able to strike a balance. We have been able to drive the nation maybe in a mediocre level. Now, in your answer, the early part of the answer, one point that struck my mind was that you referred to 4 presidents before President Mahinda Rajapaksa. And I think, like, in the tenure of late His Excellency J.R. Jayawardena, there was an opportunity where he could cramp the LTT at the famous Vadamarakchi situation, but he had to succumb to certain pressures, especially from India. So, what is the two scenarios that you see? That time he could not muster the support of the opposition, he could not muster the support of the local authorities and the support of the international community. So he had to give up the ultimatum. But in contrast, we see President Mahinda Rajapaksa, despite pressure from the international community, he was able to muster the necessary support from necessary stakeholders, and he ended the war. So how do you see these two scenarios?
Well, I think President Mahinda Rajapaksa was very determined man with experience, colossal amount of experience, and he has seen the parliament from very young age. He's coming from a political background. His father has been a member of the founder member of the SLFP with late Prime Minister S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike, and he has been associating with Sirimao Bandaranaike, Madam Sirimao Bandaranaike. So he was watching the situation as a member of the parliament, as an opposition member, as an opposition leader, as a minister, as a prime minister. He was listening and he was studying, where have we gone wrong? How many people have tried, failed? What are the aspirations of the people? So he, when he came into power as the president of this country, he had two choices. One, come to the table, be honest, put all your arms down, talk. Otherwise, I can't have two people running this country. Either I run this country from the front, I lead as the leader of this country, or I eradicate the terrorism. I can't have two people telling within the country what I should be doing for the motherland. So when he wanted to continue his peace efforts, he genuinely sent the people of the ministers for the meeting, and he found, look here, they have cheated Jaya Jayawardena, they have cheated Ranasinghe Premadas, Divya Wijayatunga, and Madam Chandrika Bandara. They are not going to stop that, they are going to do that to me as well. So it's winner takes it all. Either Prabhakaran try to sort of misguide and mislead His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, or Mahinda Rajapaksa as the president of this country takes the matter as a leader of the country. So I think he is people have underestimated him, in my opinion, because he was very clever. He was waiting for his time as the head of the state. He planned it very beautifully, and he didn't come with any commitments, or he didn't come with any other international agreements. So when Jaya Jayawardena's era and then president, him coming from various connections, background and policies and principles, he had reasons. Because I remember when Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister, invited former President Jaya Jayawardena, he was invited to India, and he in his speech he said, at the SAARC countries, I remember walking with your late father and your mother had cup of tea. So that is, he was referring to Indira Gandhi, and he remembers even Mahatma Gandhi. So such a experienced leader, Jaya Jayawardena, as the former president of this country. So his associates goes back to such a level, and then he was very committed. And I would say where Jaya Jayawardena had gone wrong, he was more politically minded than the country. Why I say that? Because when he had to win election after election, he didn't want to upset the up-country Tamil people and northern part of Tamil people, because in 82, when Hector Kobak was the candidate of SLFP, Hector Kobak won Jaffna. So SLFP is very sound in the northern part of Sri Lanka. So, and here if you look at SLFPs have never ever hurt Tamils in northern part in the history. They worked very closely. Whereas there was a background of burning the library, and just before the election they were not allowed the normal people to come into the local government office and various things. Therefore, truly people who could have elected in the northern part, Jaffna, were not allowed in 1981-82. Now, why I say that? Now, take one example. He comes into power with such a massive majority, and then Mrs. Bandaranaike being not allowed to contest. Her civic rights been removed. So her proxy or her alternative was late Mr. Hector Coppola. Now,